Female doctor is switching the hands of the two newborns because one of the newborns had an accident. He's gone, but this baby is the only grandson of a wealthy family to inherit the family business. It turns out that this woman was the doctor on duty that day. That night, she went to a hotel to get drunk, and at that moment, the Zaibatsu's grandson developed. He was having trouble breathing and his heart rate was unstable. The nurse could only think of a way to buy time for the child. While contacting the doctor on duty. But the duty doctor's phone was never answered. It was not long before the woman learned of the newborn's problem.
항생제 터치했어? 심폐소생부터 해.
The woman rushed to the hospital in a hurry. She came to the hospital and tried everything she could to save the baby, but she missed the golden opportunity to save the baby. The child was unable to recover. The nurse on the other side tried to notify the family according to the procedure, but the woman stopped her. It was her negligence that caused the plutocrat's grandson's accident. Not only does she have to bear all the blame, she will be punished by the Zaibatsu family, and this hospital will be closed down because of her. Thinking about it, terrified, she picked up the phone and called the director's father for help. The director is a tough man who's been through a lot. Faced with his daughter's difficult situation, he quickly found a way for the family to survive.
바꿔. 바꾸라고 다른 애랑. 개화정품 성자야. 날 조산으로 태어난 애 있잖아.
There was a pregnant woman who gave birth at the same time as Mrs. Zaibatsu, and both gave birth to a boy. In such a desperate situation, the doctor had to follow his father's advice and sacrifice others to save himself. So, with trembling hands, he switched the identity cards of the two newborns. Unexpectedly, the nurses all watched the scene. They were stunned. In order to cover up this crisis perfectly, they could only try to gag the nurses. The nurse was morally unwilling to follow the doctor's orders. Besides, the switched child was her best friend's child, but the woman offered to send the nurse's child abroad for surgery. That's why the nurse was hesitant. She was torn between morality and her daughter's life. But after the woman's constant psychological persuasion, the nurse finally decided to save her daughter. She promised the doctor to keep it a secret. Meanwhile, the two mothers, who didn't know what was going on, were waiting to see their children. Then the nurse came out, but she only called her best friend, Lisa, to visit the baby. Lisa, from the nurse's face, which looked like she was about to say something, she had a bad feeling. She rushed into the nursery. The woman stopped Lisa and told her, with an air of resignation, that she was doing her best. We've done everything we can. Your baby was born prematurely and is having trouble breathing. His heart rate dropped, and he was taken from this world forever. Such words were like 1,000 arrows piercing Lisa's heart. Her husband is still in intensive care because of an accident. Now that this has happened, Lisa was devastated.
아니도 저희도 끝까지 최선을 다했어요. 그리고 부모님은 망하지 않을 겁니다. 너무 자책하지 마세요. 안 나가요.
The doctor felt guilty and fled the scene, unaware of the truth. Lisa could only accept the misfortunes that came her way. She carried the baby to the crematorium in her arms. At that moment, she passed by the daughter of a plutocrat. The woman who gave birth to her child on the same day had such a misfortune. As a new mother, she felt pity and sympathy for Lisa's baby, but she doesn't know that it's her real flesh and blood. Lisa was still in pain when she dropped her baby off. Then she looked at the bracelet lying on the side. It reminded her of something. Last night, when the child had an accident and went to the hospital room, she collided with the doctor who was rushing back from the hospital. She dropped her bracelet to the ground.
그 여자가 서운한 선생님이었어. 그때 술 냄새 났는데 분명 술 냄새였어.